Well, here, I got some stuff that we can probably look at.
No, just probably charged, but yeah, go for it.
So did you see, what was it? The former Obama State Department person harassing an Arab street vendor in New York?
No, which State Department member was this?
His name is Stuart Seldowitz. Yeah, he served under Obama. He had a bunch of important.
Which term?
I think it was like his second term.
I don't remember that person at all.
Yeah, well, hang on. I think I pulled a bunch of stuff up on him. Maybe if I can pull it up here.
Yeah.
Because I remember I was. The problem is I post so much stuff on my Facebook with these scheduled posts now. It's like, oh God. Words of the wise to anybody who likes to post on Facebook but doesn't want to spend too much time on the computer. Change yourself to a digital creator. That way you can, schedule posts and you can just post everything you want in the morning and then just go about your day. That's how you do it.
I might actually keep track of that.
Yeah, it really did me a solid because now I don't have to check on my Facebook every 3 hours to be like, what's going on? Should I post something? Okay.
It sounds like you did a solid before the stream today. You did a solid before the stream today. We did an Ewok chant to celebrate it.
Oh, yeah. Okay, yeah. So, Seldowitz held roles as the acting director for the National Security Council, South Asia Directorate under Obama, and as the deputy director, senior political officer in the U.S. State Department's Office of Israel and Palestinian Affairs from 1999 to 2003. So not only did he serve under Obama, but this has been like a veteran of the State Department, even going past him. So. So let me just. Oh my God! Yeah, let me just.
This is surprising because even milk toast, both sides Obama has been more brazen with his condemnations of Israel than a lot of sitting politicians have been. He described the conditions in Gaza as being unbearable.
Can you see?
Let me see. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, I gotcha. Right, shit.
All right, here, let's do this.
Yeah, it looks like a cabinet member.
Yep, I just was.
You can tell by the hair granulation. What the hell?
It's like, what are you doing?
That guy's just all right. Whoa. Mayonnaise offering. Take the mayonnaise and leave, dude.
Let me turn up a bit, sorry. I think that is a pro-Israel pin he has. Yep, there we go. Hi, look, I support Israel. Look at me.
I think this is just dementia.
It's not my fault that you pray to a criminal.
Listen, I'm working now, okay? Can you leave, please? Go, please.
You're not working.
I'm just working here, yeah. Go.
There's nobody here. I'm going to put big signs here that say this guy believes in Hamas.
You want to buy something?
No, I don't.
Okay, why stay here?
I won't give you a penny of my money.
Listen. Why stay here?
What?
Do you want to buy something?
No.
Okay, go.
I don't want to go. I have a right to stand here. You have no right to be on the sidewalk. You have a permit?
Yeah, I have a permit. I have everything. I have a license.
Okay, but you don't have a visa.
I have a
yeah.
What do you have?
Whoa.
Just assuming that he did.
Damn.
Oh, it is my business because I actually know the guy who owns all these.
I have an American citizen. Do you have it?
American citizen?
Yeah, do you have it?
How did you become an American citizen?
It's not your business.
By nationalization.
This is like the Trump line of questioning. This is like MAGA questioning right now. Show me your ID to prove that you're not this is like when Karens get mad when they see a black person on in their apartment complex. It's prove that you live here. What's the gate code or whatever. Oh man, that's so bad.
Yeah, it's just these people. Yeah, this conflict has really exposed a lot of bigotry and racism from like all sides here, just saying like
Yeah.
absolute worst fucking shit. And like for him, like basically I feel like he's pro-Israel because he has a disdain for Muslim and Arab people. It's like,
yeah, it's I feel like it's exposed people's biases.
oh, for sure.
Whereas, like, you know, some people's bias is like, you know, so pro-Israel that they're willing to overlook like the most inhumane atrocities in order to defend Israel. And like, I remember like there was one person, just like dumb fucking random comment thread. I usually don't interject, but I just couldn't help myself. I was like, okay, I said, I want you to give me a specific number. Like, how many civilians can the IDF kill before you criticize the IDF? Like, provide a specific number.
Mhm.
It's like, you give them like carte blanche for like, you know, civilian casualties? Like, is there like no limit to what they're able to like inflict before you, like, you're even willing to like, you know, question or criticize their conduct whatsoever? No fucking response. People are like willing to accept limitless atrocities against humanity. Just because they have like a bias because they're Jewish. This person was Jewish, by the way. But it's like people's biases can be so strong that they're willing to overlook the most abominable bullshit and still defend the abominable conduct. And it's crazy. But it's also really dispiriting. I like to think that, like, even if there was something that I was emotionally to, if that thing I was emotionally beholden to started inflicting casualty rates on the scale of the IDF, that I would be willing to like criticize that thing. like when it comes to the US and like the Iraq war, it's like, oh, we really fucked that up. That was really bad. The casualty rate was insane.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a lot of people have demonstrated that they don't have that capacity to criticize something that they're emotionally beholden to. And it's really disappointing.
No, I agree. Like this guy right here.
Yes.
Listen,
Even his
bro, I'm not
boss like
about
is
something.
criticized.
You
Oh, go ahead.
support terrorism.
I'm not some. Go.
You're
I'm
killing
just
little
working here.
children. You're a terrible person.
You kill children, not me.
What?
Go.
My kids? What about my kids?
You kill children, not me. Go.
I didn't kill children.
Okay, why stay
You
here?
know why? If we killed 4,000 Palestinian kids, you know what? It wasn't enough.
Oh my God.
It wasn't enough.
Go.
What did he say there?
He said if we didn't, you know, if we actually killed 4,000 Palestinian children, that wasn't enough.
Oh God! And he just like accused the other person of being a.
Yep.
Like of course, like what if Palestinians did that to Israelis? He would say that it's awful, because I'm sure that like just killing like 1,300 Israelis he thinks is an atrocity. But this is like this is so. As more time goes on, we're getting like better statistics about what's happening. So even with the Hamas attacks, there was a 45% civilian death rate with like, you know, who died, and a 55% military target death rate. So like, even though like, you know, like it was far more, even though that was atrocious, like 45% civilian deaths with like Hamas's like quote unquote terrorist operation. I agree that it's a terrorist operation, but it's still like there was still a 45% civilian death rate with that. But with Israel and and what they're doing against Gaza, the lowest estimate is that it's a 70% civilian death rate. The highest is like in the 90s. And that is insane.
Well, well, that's why I feel like a lot of them were very afraid to do a ceasefire, because now there's one in effect, and we're kind of seeing videos of like the carnage in the area, and there's just dead civilians everywhere. It's just a fucking bloodbath there. It just literally looks like it's just indiscriminate bombing.
Yeah, it does. It's worse than Ukraine.
Mm-hmm.
That's been the insane thing about, like, have you been watching like Piers Morgan's like coverage of this as well?
Oh, actually,
like,
I have some Piers Morgan's video that we're going to share. So.
Yeah, it's like he's willing to like accept a double standard, where he defends the overall geopolitical situation, and even though like what's happening in Gaza meets that same standard and actually exceeds it. So like he can't hold position. I don't care how much like Kama Sutra Piers Morgan has read. He can't hold those two positions at the same time.
Exactly. So wait, here's Piers Morgan talking with our bro Finkelstein here. So
no way! I didn't know he did the Finkelstein. Oh
yeah,
shit!
Yeah. I actually got two Finkelstein videos. So yeah.
Yo, okay.
One of two people who survived the Holocaust, who were both in concentration camps. You're a Jewish man, and you know how incendiary that Substack has proven to be with Jewish people around the world, many of whom have felt this is the nearest thing to the Holocaust of World War II that they've endured. What your parents went through, being revisited on them in these kibbutzes on October the 7th. What do you feel about them? I mean, how would your parents have felt about you literally on the day that this happened? Talking about heroic resistance, talking about that you will never begrudge the scenes, the stars in heaven are looking kindly down, glory, glory, the souls of Gaza go marching on. How would your parents have felt about that, coming out of concentration camps, surviving the Holocaust of World War II?
Well, first of all, anything I write, I have my parents looking at the screen behind me over my shoulders. In a metaphorical sense, I am very conscious every moment of my existence goes back to the martyrdom of my family. So it's not as if suddenly you're posing a question to me that never occurred to me. Quite the contrary, I do need, even 30 years after their death, I need the moral validation that came from my parents' martyrdom and the extermination of their family. How would my parents have reacted? My guess is if on the first day they heard that inmates in a concentration camp burst its gates, I think my parents would be very pleased at that fact. As the events became clearer, my guess, but this is pure speculation, my guess is my parents would go out with their hearts, would go out to those who burst the gates of the concentration camp and whose lives were destroyed. Now, you will say to me, completely legitimately, you would say, well, what would your parents feel about the innocents who were slaughtered in the atrocities on that date? So I'm going to give you as close an answer as I could give, as I'm able to. I once asked my late mother, I said to her, what was your feeling when you heard that the German cities were being terror bombed during World War II? The carpet bombing of the German cities targeting civilians. What was your feeling? And my mother's response to me was, quote, our feeling was, if we're going to die, we're going to take some of them with us. Now, that's not the most morally elevated statement. I agree. And do I wish my mother had and my father had a heightened sensitivity to German civilian life? I suppose I would wish it. But I will tell you, Piers, to the last day of my parents' life, it was unthinkable that they would have a kind word to say about Germans. And it was unthinkable that I would ever quarrel with them on that point.
Okay.
I accepted that given their life experience, they had the right to hate the people who destroyed their lives.
Okay.
And the people
Professor
of
Finkelstein.
Gaza have the right to hate the people who destroyed their lives.
Professor Finkelstein.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah, definitely.
Righteous as hell. Wow. And and I think that, like, you know, part of what he's saying is like more legitimate and, like, you know, vindicated, because after Hitler became, you know, after he really like secured his power, it was like over 90% of the German population was in favor of like his most atrocious policies. So it's not unfair to marry certain segments of the German population with, like, you know, what Hitler was doing. I don't think that same number applies to the Palestinians who support Hamas. But
well, like the I guess what he's like, because Gaza has been claimed, you know, it's been described as like an open air prison. It's just a giant concentration camp, and you know, when he references, like, you know, what if Jewish people, you know, rebelled and broke out during World War II, like that did happen. There were like 2 successful breakouts. One was Treblinka, and the other one was Sobibor, and it was a massive. I mean, they were held up penned up in that area. I mean, and those 2 camps were actually death camps. So like a lot of people, you know, were going there to be exterminated. And I think, you know, when you look at it from the perspective of the Germans, there's this false narrative that like most of them didn't know what was going on. The truth is that many of them were aware what was happening to like Jewish people throughout Europe. They just didn't want to believe it, or, you know, they just didn't want to talk about it. So the sense that like none of them, you know, should have been felt guilty about what happened, I feel like is a ridiculous statement. Like, and this is like, for Germans, you know, Jews were being herded off and exterminated in distant parts away from German places. You know, for Israelis, you know, Palestinians are living like only a few miles away. Like they see the occupied areas, they see the ghettoized communities, like they see how like they're being driven off. Like, yeah, I think that's. Oh, I'm sorry. Please continue. I'm just saying, like, I find it hard to fathom why, you know, Palestinians would react in a way that they would, only if they base their premise on the fact that like they feel like every Palestinian is out to get them. They want to destroy every Jewish person. I mean, that's the only logical conclusion that I can come from that. Why would they you know, justify what their government's doing?
I think it's that, like, you know, it's because Palestinians actually are an oppressed population of people. The Germans were not an oppressed population of people. That's the main distinction. Like the Germans actually were not subjected to acts of terrorism, acts of apartheid against the Jewish population. Or I'm sorry, the German population was not subjected to acts of apartheid from the Jewish population. But Palestinians are subjected to things that are comparable to apartheid, even by Nelson Mandela's.
I mean, it's probably worse than apartheid. I remember we talked about this last time.
Mandela, said it was even worse. So to me, it's like, okay, I just looked it up. 3/4 of Palestinians said Hamas was playing a positive role, and that's a pretty remarkable number. For me, it's like, you know, like even if it does not mean that, you know, the death of Israeli citizens is acceptable.
Oh, not at all.
Killing citizens in order to advance political goals is the literal definition of terrorism. And that's something that needs to be opposed at every conceivable juncture. But the reason why I think they're favorable to it, though, is because they are on the receiving end of unimaginable levels of
almost like carpet bombing like Israeli conditions.
Yeah. So it's kind of like what you said. It's like it's if the concentration camp rebelled against the oppressors. And of course, the majority of that concentration camp would be supporting whoever was fighting against those conditions. And it's
that's an important point, because like the same comparison could be drawn to like I remember back in 2014 with the rise of ISIS and how they quickly swept over like Iraq. And for a lot of Sunnis, like they weren't necessarily like probably didn't even agree with at least 50% of like the doctrines and policies that, you know, ISIS wanted to implement. But from their perspective, they were like, hey, this is the only group like fighting for us. Because prior to that, they were being marginalized by the new Shiite-dominated government in Iraq, to the point where like they were just being ignored, and like any protests or demonstrations that were put out, like the army would just shoot at them.
What happens when you don't have a truly representative government? Did you watch Andrew Tate's conversation with Piers Morgan?
Andrew Tate?
Yeah, he had a conversation with Piers Morgan.
About what? About women bad?
About Israel and Palestine. And Andrew Tate also dunked the fuck on Ben Shapiro, which was very satisfying, by the way.
Is this for real? Like,
no, this is for real.
Andrew Tate is a very like distinguished political commentator now, like about this. Like
all of a sudden, ever since he's been interviewed by people like Candace Owens, all of a sudden he has like a lot of tremendous political influence, I guess, within like the commentator sphere.
Holy shit!
But he had an interview with Piers Morgan, and he was wrong about one thing massively.
What is it?
He was unwilling to say that Hamas were terrorists. And Hamas, that is a terrorist organization. They indiscriminately kill civilians in order to advance political goals. That's the terrorist threshold. By the way, that's something that Trump literally quoted in 2016 when Trump was like, we should go for the families of terrorists. We should kill the families of terrorists. We can't just kill the terrorists. We have to kill the families because that's what's going to make them capitulate. That's what's going to make them lick our heels. That's how we're going to get the terrorists, all that kind of stuff. Kill the families. Yeah, Trump has actually like advocated for terrorism, by the